Look, I wish I could start off by saying how much I love the DJI Avata and how perfect it is, because that's true to an extent, but after traveling overseas with it as my only drone, I have to say I've found some brutal flaws that I need to share. So today I'm out here in the wilderness of New Zealand to not only explain to you the ups and downs of traveling with this thing, but also to show them to you, because some things are simply easier to show than to be explained. The first of which is the most brutal issue with this drone, which honestly affects me with every flight. So what's that issue? I'm currently flying around at a fairly normal speed, not being rough on the controls at all, right? However, the moment that I make a sharp U-turn, almost like damn clockwork, the drone freaks out and goes into normal mode. This normal mode save as such is an update made to the drone after the initial problem was the quad flipping and falling right out of the sky. So yeah, DJI released a fix for it without really fixing the problem itself. I don't know why it does this, and I don't really want any excuses for it either. I just simply wanted to fly the same way that other ducted Cinewhoop drones fly and not do this flippy shit. It actually makes flying kind of nerve-wracking, and it's really a scary experience when the drone does try to save itself, as you have no control over the situation with everything being auto. It actually makes me not want to fly over water with the imminent fear of it absolutely caking itself on a turn and then plopping into the water, never to be seen again. I've found a few other minor issues to this that I'll get to soon. For now, let's talk about something positive, the camera system. So you may know by now that the Avata uses DJI's O3 camera system, which is the latest air unit upgrade. And I'm about to seriously upset some people here, so for those who specifically swear by GoPro, I'm sorry in advance. This O3 camera is simply just awesome. It's so damn clear to fly with, has fantastic signal penetration, and actually grades up pretty damn well in my opinion. To give credit where credit is due though, GoPro absolutely does take the win when it comes to sole video quality. In my opinion, the colors look better, the resolution looks higher, and the dynamic range is far superior. But, and keep in mind here that I am an absolute quality nerd, I don't actually think its quality perks are worth its trade-offs. Well, at least not while traveling. When using the Avata's built-in camera, you literally have nothing to worry about, and when I say nothing, I mean nothing. Simply get the battery, plug it in, and start flying. The Avata will automatically start to record, which you can monitor using the goggles. And hey, don't worry if you forgot an SD card, because there's 20 gigabytes. Yes, 20 gigabytes of internal storage to use. Just compare that immediately with a GoPro. First, you gotta start off carrying an additional camera, making sure it has an SD card in it as there's no internal storage, and double checking that you've charged the battery up. Once you get that far, you have to make sure that you attach it to your drone at the right angle, and also that you remember to press record. Look, I'm really not trying to shit on GoPro here, because I think that the quality differences do actually set it apart, but when size and weight are such large factors when you're traveling, the O3 air unit just makes so much more sense. So yeah, I am a massive advocate for utilizing the fact that the O3 unit records your footage in such an easy way, and you'll find it very, very difficult to change my mind. But by all means, feel free to comment your opinions down below. I'll possibly consider them. So I've gone over a bit about the drone itself, but unfortunately my gripes do not stop there. Let's go over the remote and the goggles now. So something that I had actually heard about before but had never previously experienced with these was the fogging up of the goggle lenses. Here in New Zealand it's a very dry climate, even when it gets hot as hell, although right now it's certainly not hot. It's chilly! Bali on the other hand, holy shit, that place is so stupidly humid and hot you'd really want to hope that the goggles have a good fan inside to help keep the lenses clear. Unfortunately, it doesn't really. There's literally no workaround for this either. It's just a point of trying your best to see through the fog until it hopefully disappears a bit. My next little issue is the controller's gimbals, and you're gonna have to trust me when I say that I really wanted to love the controller as a whole, but these gimbals and sticks, they just aren't for me. They're way too small and make it really finicky to control, both of which kind of just makes this experience suck. Yeah, I actually seriously feel like my flying skills are severely limited by using this controller, which is sad because it's the only controller that the Avata works with, but take the control stick issues away, and the form factor of this thing along with the general size is an absolute godsend. Okay, so I'm sure by now you might actually be wanting to hear if I have something positive to say about the drone itself. And I do, don't worry, we're gonna get there. First though, this Avata system as a whole is an absolute dream to pack with and use. Everything really easily fits inside the single compartment in my bag. The battery charger is a simple USB-C connection, and the batteries themselves are all pretty compact and small too. Pack in the goggles too, and then the remote too, and we've got the full system in one lightweight, compact little space. And let me tell you, I absolutely love it for that. Bouncing off the battery side of things here too, that little USB connection charger allows this drone to be charged off of a power bank on the go. And I've actually got this little pocket-sized one, which has 33-watt charging, I believe, which isn't exactly super fast, but it's still fast enough that it charges the Avata battery substantially quicker than a normal power bank. So it's much cheaper to pick up one of these in comparison to buying another Avata battery, and it's actually a little bit of a bonus when you need it. It can become a phone charger. So yeah, that really seals the travel deal, right? I'll pop the link for this power bank down in the description box below, by the way. Now, once you're actually ready to get out and start flying, the Avata's got some really cool positives that I don't know if any other drone, like FPV drone, actually offers. So let me show you. If I pop this down here, and we're in normal mode right now, and I start up, start hovering, now it's just chilling there. I've got absolutely no hands on the controller, right? It's great. Switch it into manual mode. Put my goggles on for this bit. Now, we're in manual mode. Super simple, right? So you can go fly yourself around, really nice and easy. And then, best thing to do here, pop it into either sport mode or normal mode. And very simply, look, I can do this without goggles. Very simply, bring it back to yourself. There's a little party trick. Oh yeah, that's definitely just a show off. I know that one is. Now, before I move on from this positive, I want to let you know that I have just started a Patreon page, and I've popped the link in the description below. This is the best way that you can help support both the videos that you see now and the videos for the future. But if you can't afford to help out financially right now, hitting the like button below is a free alternative as well. Alright, moving on from the positives, and I do actually hate to do this, but I mentioned earlier that there are a few other issues that I had with the drones flying. The first is intense prop wash, which is actually like hard to avoid in any flight, even when you aren't going fast. Like simply trying to lower the altitude of the drone can get a bit sketchy. Yeah. Or otherwise, coming out of something like a dive a little too fast will also cause it to shit itself. In fact, this actually happened to me when I was diving down the biggest statue in Indonesia. And yeah, it made me feel ridiculously anxious because for a split second, while I was trying to sort its life out, I was certain it was going to crash and burn. It also brings me to another factor that I discovered while flying around the statue. You see, it may have looked like a really nice day to be flying, and sun-wise, it was. But the actual reality was the wind was blowing a gale. There were points in time where I was, no joke, full throttle just staying in one place, and to be able to move I had to drop the quad lower multiple times where the wind was a little bit lesser. But in saying this, I'm not going to go ahead and tell you that this is a flaw, as it's literally a cine whoop with 3-inch props, but it is something to note. It's kind of funny to me right now because even though I have all of these issues with the drone and the controller, I still actually think it's the best FPV travel drone around. I like to compare it with the 2016 fight between the original Mavic Pro and the Phantom 4 Pro. The quality of the Mavic's camera was well below the Phantom 4 Pro. It flew slower and had way fewer features, yet myself and many others still opted for the Mavic Pro. Why was that? For me, it was because the hit and quality and the features were actually outweighed by the fact that it was a compact system, perfect for traveling with, and still delivered good enough footage to be worth it. So put that into perspective with the pros and cons of a homemade FPV drone versus the Avata, and you'll start to understand why the better quality and flight experience of a homemade one still doesn't make it my drone of choice in these circumstances. So there you have it, the DJI Avata is currently my favorite travel FPV drone, even with its fair few quirks and issues. And look, I am actually super grateful to have taken it to Bali and would recommend any other traveling operator to pick one up for themselves. There's a link in the description below to get the exact same kit that I use, my Patreon page where you can show your support, and I've also got this video here that might change some people's opinions on the Avata's motion controller. See you there.